it's Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, Bears football is officially back. This Sunday at Soldier Field will be Caleb Williams' debut regular season for the Chicago Bears as the Chicago Bears take on the Tennessee Titans. And once again, I am joined by my co-host Isaiah Frey for another season in the books. How you feeling, Isaiah?
I'm feeling good. How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a long time. You know, once the season's over, we kind of separate a little bit. We go our separate paths, but it's good to finally have you back on the channel for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of exciting things to talk about this season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we got some time to refresh from the heartache. We're not going to bring up his name, right? So now we can refresh a little bit. We have a new quarterback in town, and his name is Caleb Williams, and so far, so good. I know it's preseason, but he definitely showed some flashes. So just go ahead and tell me what you liked, what you've seen from Caleb Williams so far going into this first game.
He looks good, man. He looks good. He looks very poised in the pocket right now. We kind of get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes with Hard Knocks, and I think that's pretty cool. Seeing how he operates day to day. For me personally, just watching that, I think that's a big thing for Bears fans to be excited about, because the way he prepares for games is elite, especially for a rookie. So if he continues that, man, I expect big things from him.
Yeah, what I appreciated about the Chicago Bears this go around, because the oldest saying in the book is this is where quarterbacks go to die, right? But I think Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus definitely had a plan in place, and that was surround Caleb Williams with not only good veteran players on the outside, but also good quality coaches as well. I think when you look at Shane Waldron, he's an upgrade over Luke Getsy, right? You think about the weapons on the outside. You have DJ Moore, added Keenan Allen, Aaron Romadunze, and we're not even talking about Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett as well. DeAndre Swift in the backfield, and then an offensive line that, a lot of people have talked bad about during the offseason, me included at times. But I think it's also a revamped unit for this offense.
Yeah, they've upgraded in a lot of spots that they were weak in last year, and I think you kind of see that in the preseason. I know everybody says the preseason doesn't matter and whatnot, but sometimes, man, you can kind of get a insight on how the season's going to go by how the preseason games are played, man. And don't take for granted that they went 4-0. I think that's actually a bigger deal than people are going to make, and I expect to see improvement in the record just off that base alone.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I really loved about Hard Knocks, going deep detail on Caleb Williams, was the fact that I think it was the last game or maybe the first game they played at Soldier Field. The quarterback's coach went up to Caleb and said, "Hey, what's on a scale of 1 to 10? How nervous are you?" He says, "I'm not nervous at all. I never get nervous for games." He's like, "The last time I got nervous was in a high school game against like Gilman or something like that." And that just shows you that he's been in the spotlight his whole life. He is ready for this moment. And I think he's taking it all in, trying to become really the first ever franchise quarterback in Bears history.
Absolutely. I think the best part of Hard Knocks is when Eberflus and Nick Saban were having that conversation, right? And he was explaining how quarterbacks fail to succeed and live up to expectations, and he basically said the outside world is what puts the pressure on the quarterback to not be as well as they can. So I think that was good for everybody to hear, not just everybody in the building, but everybody surrounding the Bears. Just let them grow. You know what I mean? Just give them some time to grow, and we'll see some good things from them.
Right, and the fact that his teammates already trust him being a captain, he was voted as one of the 8 captains. I think that's a huge deal. That's actually Chicago Bears history as well. Mitch Trubisky didn't get that honor in his rookie year. Justin Fields didn't get that honor until his second year. Rex Grossman didn't even get that honor, right? Jim McMahon, and so forth and so forth. I think that's a bigger deal. It shows you that he is mature beyond his years, and I think he is ready for the spotlight.
Absolutely.
So I do want to bring to your attention, Isaiah, and to the viewers as well, is that no starting rookie quarterback selected number 1 overall has won week 1 since 2002. So I guess my question for you and the people listening to answer down below in the comments is, can Caleb Williams break that curse?
I think they should win. I'm comparing their talent of team and what I've seen in the preseason compared to Tennessee. Yeah, they should win. It'd be disappointing for them not to win this game. I'm just putting it that way.
Yeah, and it's like we're gonna break down the Tennessee Titans a little bit more in deep detail here in a second, and they added a lot of key additions to their team as well. For the most part, when I thought about the Tennessee Titans, I'm like, okay, new head coach, they
Right.
lost Derrick Henry, right? You're talking about Will Levis going into year 2, looked decent in the 9 games that he played last season,
Right.
but for the most part, on paper, this Bears team, especially at home, looks like the more superior opponent in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going, number 1 to 53, I think talent wise, the Bears got him. Curious to see how the new head coach in Tennessee does. Vrabel had been there for so long and kind of had his imprint on how the team would play, and that kind of persona that he brought to the team. So I expect a different Tennessee team, whether that be good or bad. That remains to be seen, but it's definitely not going to be something that we're used to seeing. These past couple of years with Vrabel in there.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and break down this game a little bit more in deep detail. First and foremost, the Bears are the 4.5-point favorite. Haven't heard that in a very long time because the Bears haven't been very good in a very long time, right? So we're not used to that. Last season, the Tennessee Titans went 6-11, while the Chicago Bears went 7-10. We all know there's a couple of games here and there that the Bears could have won, but could have, would have, should have at this point. And to tell the tape for this game, the Bears defense ranked first in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game with 86.4 last season. The Bears defense also ranked first in interceptions last year as well with 22. And the Titans ranked 32nd in the NFL interceptions last season with 6. So I want to break down the Tennessee Titans key additions this offseason because once again, when I was looking at the Titans, I was like, okay, they lost Derrick Henry. They have a new head coach and they have Will Levis, but they really added some talent, not only on the offensive side of the football, but also the defense side of the football as well, starting with Tony Pollard, the running back from the Dallas Cowboys, Tyler Boyd, the wide receiver from Cincinnati. Of course, they got Calvin Ridley as well. He had a big year last year. They got L'Jarius Sneed from the Kansas City Chiefs as well, one of the better young corners in the National Football League last season. And then some other key players on our team as well, DeAndre Hopkins, Jeffrey Simmons, and of course, Jamal Adams as well. So this Tennessee Titans team is really no slouch. I know there's a lot of excitement about the Chicago Bears, but the Tennessee Titans had a really quiet but also good offseason.
Yeah, they did. A lot of those guys are going to contribute. Tony Pollard, last year wasn't his best year, but the year before he had a really good year. I think he got hurt at some point last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But losing Derrick Henry's big, man. I think that that's huge. Especially that's been the stable of their team for the past 7-8 seasons, however long he's been on the team. So that's going to be an adjustment, man. When you can't just line up and give the ball to a guy like Derrick Henry 25, 30 times a game, man, that changes your whole persona of your team. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out with the guys like Calvin Ridley, and they already have D-Hop, to see how they come out probably a little bit more throwing, I would say, this year than they have in the past.
Yeah, and then you look at Tennessee's defense, right? Starting off with Jeffrey Simmons, 5.5 sacks last season. They also have Arden Key rushing the passer as well. So it's like one of those things that this is no slouch of a team. I think, once again, they do have that rookie head coach in Callahan, but I think this is going to be a team that's ready to play. It's funny that Callahan actually came out earlier this week and said, hey, we're still trying to prepare for the Chicago Bears. We have no idea what's coming. We know what Caleb Williams is capable of. We know that he has to earn it in the regular season as well. But he looks really good. So we're still trying to come up with some type of game plan for the Chicago Bears offense. And it's a mystery for everyone in the National Football League. Everyone around the league is wondering, what are the Chicago Bears going to look like this season? Yeah,
I mean, you got glimpses of it in the preseason. I think they can kind of expect what to see. Very fluid in the pocket. I think that's the biggest thing with him, is he understands how to play the pocket, but at the same time have that knowledge to get outside and make some plays with his legs if he needs to. He's very good at managing that. I'm not calling him a game manager by any means, but what I'm saying is he plays that pocket as good as I've seen any rookie do it in that preseason. So it's going to be tough for any D coordinator to kind of game plan for that, especially when you got those 3 guys on the outside who, can win any one-on-one matchup.
Right. And it's just like the off-script plays, right? The plays that are breaking down within the pocket. He still makes something happen. What I love about Caleb Williams so far is the ability to keep his eyes downfield. And that's where the big plays happen, especially when you have guys like Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Those guys are going to be constantly open, right? You're not going to be able to cover those guys for a full 60-minute game, right? So that's obviously going to help. I'm a guy like Caleb Williams. And his ability to be really fluid in the pocket and you know, make something happen with his legs as well is also going to help this Bears offensive line be better as well.
Yeah, schematically you can't guard him either. I mean, there's just too many guys out there. I mean, you know, we haven't seen Rome. You know, Rome had a good preseason, but we haven't seen him play in a regular season game. But I expect him to be really good as well. And once he gets going and playing, you know, like we think he's capable of playing, it's gonna be tough, man. You can't go one-on-one with DJ. You definitely can't go one-on-one with Keenan. So what do? You just kind of you get some guys that can cover and hope they cover him.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about. I was like, okay, yeah, they have L'Jarius Sneed. He will guard DJ Moore. I'm like, okay, who's guarding Keenan Allen? All right, who's guarding Rome Odunze? Right. Honestly, even as a rookie, I'm expecting Rome Odunze to win those one-on-one matchups. Personally.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about it, right? And then, of course, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, right? Even DeAndre Swift as a weapon in the backfield. And then I'm not sure how you feel about this, but Velus Jones Jr. as well, showing what his work in the preseason as well. So that just adds more of a dynamic, right, to the offense.
Yeah, he definitely looked good. I like him back there. I think that's a good role for him, especially like, you know, kind of a third down back. Right. Kind of opens it up a little bit more. It's a good spot for him.
Right. So we're going to move on and go ahead and talk a little bit about the injuries. You know, the Titans, Jamal Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. I think everyone's going to play. It's just the fact that I just want to list some injuries. The Bears, Keenan Allen, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard. I expect all those players to play. And this is what I love about week one. Everyone should be healthy. Everyone should be ready to go. Really no excuses in week one of the NFL season. Just wanted to throw those injuries out there for the listener. So we're going to go ahead and move on to some key matchups for this Bears versus Titans matchup on Sunday. And I'll go ahead and go first, Isaiah. For me, it's going to be the Bears secondary versus the Titans wide receivers. There's so much high expectations for this Bears secondary this season. Yeah. To be one of the best in the National Football League. Once again, I said that at the beginning of this podcast that they were first in the NFL with 22 interceptions. I expect a higher number this year, personally. I just think the fact that this is year 3 or 4 and the same defense, right, with the same players, maybe added a player here or there, but continuity means a lot when you're talking about a defense or an offense. The Bears definitely have that. You have Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, and obviously you added Kevin Byard, a guy to me that is an upgrade over a guy like Eddie Jackson. But then we look at the Titans receivers, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Boyd, right? Calvin Ridley last year, 76 catches for over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Look at a guy like Tyler Boyd, 67 catches for 667 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then DeAndre Hopkins, 75 catches for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. So it's going to be a good battle. And for me, a key matchup to watch in this game on Sunday.
Yeah. Like you said, man, this is year 3 going into the system. And once you understand that system, man, it works. You know, you just got to know where your help is, know, you know, the ins and outs, nuances of everything. But for the most part, all those guys can play. And like you said, Kevin Byard, man, when he was, you know, like all pro form, he was top 3, if not number 1 safety in the league at one point. So, you know, if he's anywhere near to where he was in Tennessee at that point that I'm speaking of, that's going to be scary. And then, like you said, they should be able to get they should be able to top that 22 picks that they had this year for sure.
Yeah, because they really didn't start heating up until the halfway point of the season. If you really think about it, we called it the Tez effect. But after we traded for Montez Sweat, that's when things really started to heat up. And that's another factor, is that Montez Sweat coming into a second season where he actually had a full off season. Yeah, with the Bears is a scary sight too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That defense, you know, you can argue that they were top 5 defense in the league that last 6-7 games a year. So with everybody coming back for the most part, man, they should just piggyback on what they had going on at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Isaiah, do you have a key matchup for us today?
Mine is the Bears receivers versus the Titans secondary. Pretty simple. I think for me, it's hard for me to see the matchups for Tennessee and them being successful. Yeah, you have Steve back there that can, you know, pretty much play one-on-one on anybody. But after that, who do you have to guard, you know, Keenan Allen and on Odunze? So even for the most part, you know, having DeAndre Swift coming out of that backfield, it's going to be tough for them to match up with them. It all comes down to Caleb and how comfortable he is playing in this game. And I think from what I've seen thus far, he's going to be able to go out there and do a great job playing the game and coming out with the victory.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they also have Quandre Diggs. So he would have to be responsible for guarding Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze,
Oh,
and
Wiley
that.
veteran, yeah.
Yeah,
He's more of a safety though, so he'll probably be more on like Cole
right,
Kmet. Yeah,
right.
he used to be a
Even
corner,
then,
but yeah.
even then, that's a tough ask, right? Even then, with Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett, that's a tough ask for
It's
anybody.
actually wild to me. I just thought about it. He's still playing because he was around my time when I was playing. So kudos to him for
Right.
he's year 9, year 10 now. Yeah, good for him.
Right, but Isaiah, I agree with you. That's going to be a really intriguing matchup.
Yeah.
I think about it every day. I'm like, how do you prepare for this Bears team? And I really think it's just by trial and error. You just kind of go out there and see the different looks, and I guess just pray to the football gods that you're able to at least slow this team down. I think what's going to really help opposing defenses early on is that the Bears are probably going to still be trying to catch their footing. I know they start early installing the offense with Caleb and getting the connection with Caleb and all those other guys, but I still think they're going to have to catch their footing a little bit in these first couple of games. So that's probably good news for the Titans, but at the same time, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, man, is just hoping that Caleb understands that he can't go out there with that gunslinging mentality that he had at SC. You know what I mean? You can't do that at this level. It's just the guys are too good. But if he's able to be comfortable early and see the plays before they happen, man, he's gonna be fine.
Right. I agree. And I do want to bring up one more key matchup, and it's going to be the Bears O-line versus the Titans D-line. I think once again, all season long, analysts, Bears fans, people around the league are saying, hey, will it be the Bears O-line to really hold this offense back from being a really good unit? I think there's a lot of anticipation if the Bears offensive line can stay healthy, and we're really just talking about Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis. If those guys can stay healthy and they can find that true continuity, because I think our tackles are great with Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. Coleman, Shelton, Ryan Bates is a mystery at the center spot. But if Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis, I think those are the keys for the Bears offensive line. If those two guys can stay healthy, we already know what Tevin Jenkins can do. He can be an all-pro in this league. With Nate Davis, I think he can be a really good starter. I'm not going to say all-pro or pro bowler, but I think he could be a really good starter at right guard. And then once again, you're looking at the Titans D-line, Jeffrey Simmons, Arden Key. You have to find a way, because Jeffrey Simmons is not like a game wrecker like a Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs, but he can make it a very long day for that interior offensive line. I know there's a lot of Bears fans out there, including myself, that's the big concern right now is our interior.
Yeah, I mean, and that remains to be seen. It's hard to say that they're bad right now because we don't know. None of us know. You know what I mean? Right. So they can come out and surprise us all week one and be out there and be more of a strength than it was last year. So we'll see. We'll have a little bit more perspective on it after this week one and kind of have our analysts on it. But, judging for the preseason, man, they look good. They look good. They really did. They look good for a rookie quarterback starting on the offense. And
absolutely. I think
Bears fans should be excited.
If I think I'm not mistaken, in the preseason, the offensive line only gave up, I think, 10 pressures and 2 sacks.
Right.
And that's the starting offensive line. Right. So it wasn't too bad at all. And I want to bring this up because I brought it up in a podcast a couple of days ago, is that last season, the starting offensive line, and you have to remember that there was guys that were injured, so we were kind of shuffling a little bit. They gave up 50 total sacks last season, but they were only credited for 26. So that means Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent were responsible for 24 of them. So when you really take away those 24, giving up 26 sacks is actually not terrible.
Who did that stat? Was that PF?
I don't know. I just, I just saw on X social media. Someone broke that down, said the Bears gave up 50 total sacks. I think it may have been a Bears insider as well that was breaking those stats down. So
those stats are always tough. Those are the type of stats.
A little iffy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if true though, that's pretty good.
Those are the guys that give the corners negative grades when they're in cover 3 and they give out a comeback route. It's not their play to make, but we'll see though.
Yeah, I could just imagine Isaiah being on PFF right after the game, like, really, I was in this coverage all game.
It went both ways for me once. Sometimes I'd play a really, really good game. They'd be like bad grade, but then sometimes I'd be like, that played shitty. They give me really good grade. I'm like, nah, I didn't play good this game. But
right. So it goes back and forth. But if that's true, it's not bad at all. 26 sacks. Hey, I'll take that any day. That's a top 15 unit at the end of the day.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the X factors of the day's game. We're going to do one for the Chicago Bears and one for the Tennessee Titans. Isaiah, I'll let you go first on this one.
It's simple, man. First game of the year, I want to see these young guys play at quarterback position for both teams. We got Caleb Williams, Will Levis. there'll be X factors in the beginning, but obviously that'll move different as the season goes on. But there's a lot of unknowns with both of them, and whoever plays better in this game is going to win the game at the end of the day. So, I expect big things out of Caleb. I think Caleb is going to he's going to be slow in the beginning, but by the end of the game, man, he's going to catch his footing and he's going to get going. Levis, man, he's not a bad young player either. I just haven't seen enough to where I'm excited to watch. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of young guys I'm excited to watch. I'm not really excited to watch him yet.
Right.
But that could all change after week 1. So we'll see. But those are my 2 X factors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of just want to add some stats for Will Levis. I think that's a great one. That was actually mine as well for the Tennessee Titans last season. Only played 9 games. So, you just haven't seen enough yet. But in those 9 games, he had a 58.4 completion percentage, a little over 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Nothing to really get you like, oh, I'm super excited about this year. But he did show some flashes last year in his rookie year. So I'm pretty sure the Titans, just like we are pretty pumped up about the possibilities of this offense. Once again, you're thinking about his weapons as well. Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins. I know I think it's a big loss. They lost Derrick Henry. That's going to be a huge key for the 10. It's huge. It really is. That's a major drop off going from Derrick Henry to Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's still a great player, but that's a major drop off. But just haven't seen enough yet. And I think he is a huge key for the Titans. If he plays well, the Titans will play well. And that's just anybody in the league. Quarterback is the most important position in the National Football League. And for me, my X factor is actually not Caleb Williams. It's going to be running back DeAndre Swift. The reason why I say that is because it's going to be Caleb's first game. No matter what he says, he has to be a little bit nervous. It's your first NFL game at Soldier Field. They're going to have to get the running game going. No matter what. That should be the first things first. Get the running game going. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the perfect running back for Caleb Williams. It's going to be a safety blanket out of the backfield. When Caleb Williams is in trouble, you have DeAndre Swift in the backfield that can make something happen, right? You saw it in the preseason like a little flip screen, right? And he took it 40 yards. Yeah. And the thing that's interesting to me is that we didn't really see DeAndre Swift a lot in the preseason as well. So that means to tell me that they may have huge plans for Swift. They didn't want to get him unnecessary reps where he's going to get hurt, right? Last season with DeAndre Swift, over 1,000 rushing yards, and I believe it was like 3 or 4 touchdowns as well. We do have to keep in mind that it was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League.
Right.
But I think he's going to be huge for Caleb Williams in this game and all season long for the Bears offense.
Oh, most definitely. Anytime you got to keep especially your star running backs, you got to keep them out the preseason. They got a long season, man, of some miles that they got to run, and there's no reason to beat them down early. But yeah, I expect big things out of Swift, man. He's had a good couple of years these last few years, and even after him, they got some guys behind them that can do some things too, man. So if they can establish the run game and take some pressure off of Caleb, and then load the box up and allow those guys to even win even more, man, that's scary.
Yeah,
that's a scary sight. So
yeah, and if we get the run game going, that's gonna be all season long, Isaiah. We get the run game going, you have to load up the box, you're done for.
You're done.
If you have to go man coverage on all the weapons we have, you're done. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. We're gonna go ahead and move on to 3 keys to a Bears win. Once again, it's gonna be week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Isaiah, I'll let you go with your first one, and I'll give one of my keys as well.
Okay. First one's getting Caleb comfortable early. I think giving him some short, easy throws, get him in the rhythm. Every quarterback needs to make layups, man. I'm a big believer in that, just to get in the flow of the game. So, getting him comfortable early is going to be a main key to a Bears win.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get pressure on Will Levis early and often. Make him beat you. Don't let Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Tony Pollard beat you, right? You need to get after him early and often. And it seems like this preseason and what I've been hearing out of practice, that Matt Eberflus has been really aggressive trying to prepare Caleb Williams, being that young quarterback. Will Levis is also a very young, to me, he has a little bit of experience, but inexperienced quarterback in the National Football League. I would say pressure him early and often. I think it's going to yield some turnovers for the Bears defense.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I'll go ahead and let you get the last one.
Last one for me would be just getting just for the secondary to continue what they did last year, picking up where they left last year. They were, to me, one of the better secondaries in the league last year as a whole. Like I've been a big fan of him. Kyler Murray, Kyler Gordon, excuse me, Kyler Murray. Kyler Gordon, man, he's grown into his own, and they finally let him just focus on the slot, man. I knew he'd be premier, and you can make the argument that he's top 3 slot right now, and that's a high honor in this league because to me playing that position, that's one of the hardest positions in the league. Right. It's you're a linebacker, your safety, your corner, your D lineman because you got to blitz. You got to do everything that every player on the defensive field does, and he's doing it right now at an elite level. So, just continue where you left off last year, man, and I think that they will be successful.
I want to give Isaiah a lot of credit because I remember having him on, and it was at the time where Kyler Gordon was playing both, and you're like, man, it's because he's playing both. It's overloading him. It's overloading him. They need to put him at nickel, just nickel, or just one or the other. And literally, like the next week, the Bears put him at just nickel corner, and then the next week on the show, he's like, "See, I told you."
Man, I've been there, man, because I get it. Because when I used to play, we used to have separate rooms for that. Like Lovey was big on like nickel, just focus on nickel because it's such a premier position, and you have to learn so much. So we wouldn't even be in the room with the corners. We'd have our own little separate meeting room and do our own thing. And I think that's helpful. You know what I mean? Just to focus on one position and not have to worry about playing outside at all.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense because I feel like playing corner in the National Football League has to be the hardest position to play.
Corner's hard, man. It's
a hard position to play. That's why I give you a lot of kudos. Anyone that makes it as a corner or safety, congratulations to you because you got to be a straight baller. The odds and rules are stacked against us, man. But we got to find a way to win. Yeah, so those are going to be our 3 keys to a Chicago Bears win. As always, as we're going through any of these topics on these pregame shows, make sure you guys interact with us down below in the comment section. Even if you just want to say hi to Isaiah Frey or myself as well, go ahead and then comment down below in the comment section. So here we go, Isaiah. Our favorite time of the show. It's going to be our score prediction for the Bears versus the Titans at Soldier Field this Sunday. Take it away.
So this week I got Bears winning 30-24.
Woo-wee! Isaiah coming with some heat, 30-24.
30-24.
So Caleb Williams' very first game, regular season, he puts up 30 points.
30 points.
Can you give me a little stat prediction for Caleb Williams in his first game? What are you going with?
I think he throws for probably a little over 200. I think they rely on Swift a lot this game just to get him comfortable. But I do think he's going to have a lot of highlight plays towards the end of the game because he's going to get comfortable. And he's a flash player, man, in a good way. I'm saying that in a very positive sense. He's a flashy, really good player. So, by the time the midway through the second quarter, man, I expect him to have some really highlighted plays that we're
get comfortable a little bit, get in the rhythm, right? Yep. I think early on you may see some incomplete passes, some nerves, and then all of a sudden
he's gonna be nervous. I don't care what he's talking about. He's gonna be nervous, man. I don't want to hear all that. You don't fool me. He's gonna be nervous, but after he gets comfortable, he's gonna be fine.
Right, I agree. So Isaiah has 30-24. I also think the Chicago Bears win 20-13. I'm not gonna give him 30 points, but I think 20-13. I think it's gonna be a complete team effort. I think we also do lean on DeAndre Swift. I think the defense is gonna have a good game. I think we're gonna pressure Will Levis early and often. I think the Bears are gonna win 20-13 against the Titans on Sunday.
I like your score better than mine, honestly, because I actually think the Bears defense is going to do a lot better than 24 points that I gave them. But I echo my 6-point spread that I gave, so I think it's around there. But I definitely think the Bears will play a lot better. I think 13 points is a little bit more believable.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, 24 points on the Bears defense.
I did. That's my fault. Yeah, I did. But I'm going to roll with it, though, either way.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We all know we got a Bears win for both Isaiah and I. As always, go ahead and comment your score prediction for the Bears versus Titans down below in the comment section. But Isaiah, we are here. Football is back. Bears football is back. We are going to be here all season long doing pregame shows. So huge shout out to Isaiah Frey for joining me once again for another season. I believe this is season number 3 or 4 together doing this. So we have grown. We've come a long way.
Yeah, man. Let's pray for a playoff berth this year, man, so we can talk about some playoff games this year. That'll be good.
Do a live stream or something on the playoff.
That'll be dope, man. Yeah, so let's cross our fingers for that. So we'll see.
We don't want to get to the point of the season where we're like, man, if we just win this game, this game, this game, we just want to be in, right? So
yeah, man. I'm tired of talking about trying what number pick we get next year, man. I don't want to hear that no more. We'll talk about something else this year.
Hey, if we're not picked 20 or more, hey, I don't want to talk about that. At this point, we may cancel the pregame shows if we suck again this year. I'm just saying.
Man.
As always, Isaiah, I appreciate you coming on every single week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. And as always, to you, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.